Hey there, I'm Erica Barnhart and welcome to the Pause and Fast podcast. I've lost 90 pounds using healthy eating and clean fasting, but more importantly, I've gained clarity, confidence, and a love for real self-care. This podcast is about sharing what I've learned and creating a community where we can grow together. One mindful choice, one fast, and one day at a time. Because every time you pause, it's a choice. When you stop just for a moment, you take back your control. When you sip water instead of reaching for a snack, when you breathe instead of rushing, fasting is power. Because when you pause, you're choosing yourself. So grab a cup of coffee or your water, take a deep breath, and let's dive in together. And now for a quick disclaimer. The views and experiences shared on this podcast are of my own and my guests, and they're meant for information and inspiration. They are not a prescription. I am not a medical professional, so please don't take my word over your doctor's. We'll be chatting about things like intermittent fasting and hormone health. And while it might sound like we've tried it all, your body is unique, so before changing your diet or your hormone health plan, check in with your healthcare provider. This podcast is all about sharing ideas and good conversations, not medical instructions, so always listen to your body. It usually knows what's up. Hi, everybody. This is Erica Barnhart from the Pause and Fast podcast, and I'm really excited to be here with Mike Saunders. He's from Eclectic, Alabama, which is close to the capital, Montgomery. And I'm really excited to have you today on the podcast, sir. So, I wanted to give you a moment to introduce yourself, and I just wanted to ask you a little bit about when and why did you begin intermittent fasting?
Well, thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm excited about this because it's just another avenue where I can maybe say a few things that might help some people.
I hope so. That's why I want to do this, to help others.
Well, just a little about me. I'm 73 years old, and I finally fully retired at the first of this year after 3 times of trying to retire. But people kept calling me back saying, please come help us, blah, blah, blah. So
that happens.
But I'm finally retired. I'm married to a wonderful, wonderful wife who actually is my partner in fasting. We fast together.
That's wonderful.
And that really makes it easy for both of us. My background has been in the trades. I've worked as an electrician in maintenance and actually had done the work of an engineer for many years, but now I'm just retired and enjoying life.
That is awesome. And how long have you been fasting with your wife? And I also wanted to ask, did you begin fasting together or did one of you start first?
I started first.
Okay.
And then when she saw the success that I had, she said, I want some of that too.
People will notice once you start. I have a similar story. I started fasting first as well. And within about 6 months, my husband started fasting as well. And it's a really fun journey to do together, isn't it?
It is. And it makes it so easy because, basically right now I'm in maintenance. Even though I have 30, 40 more pounds that I would like to shed, I'm in no hurry to do it because to me, a healthy lifestyle is more important than a number on a scale.
I agree with that. Absolutely. So you did share that you've lost a good bit of weight though. So tell me a little bit about that. How much weight have you lost with fasting?
70-something pounds.
Wow.
I haven't weighed in a couple of weeks, so I couldn't tell you exact number, but it's 70-something pounds. And the way I got started on it was I was desperately needing knee replacement surgery. But my doctor said that, I can't operate until you get below a certain BMI. And when you get there, that's when we'll operate. Well, that was in November of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, I went all through the holidays and went back in January to weigh back in, and I hadn't lost but maybe a pound or two. And all of the old tricks that I had used before, with low carb or the different things that I'd used, gosh, you can stack them up 100 different things I've tried to lose weight over the years. None of them seemed to work. And so he told me, he said, well, I tell you what, I'll not schedule another appointment until you call me and tell me that you're at this weight.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And, and I understand that. And he was very, very friendly and, didn't say it in a bad way, but I know that this is something that he's dealt with many other patients before.
Absolutely.
So I got to noticing one of my friends on Facebook and her name is Kortney Ewing.
Okay.
She would be a great person to have on your podcast. But
I'm writing that
I
down.
got to notice it, and I sent her a message, and I said, "It looks like you have lost a lot of weight since I've known you for a couple of years now," she said. And she came right back. She said, "Yes, I've lost 143 pounds." And I said,
Wow.
"Oh my goodness, how?" And so she started to tell me about intermittent fasting. And I read Jen's book. I joined Amy Jo's Facebook group. I joined Wendy Taquino's Facebook group. I joined Jalene's Facebook group, and I dove in. And that
That's
was in
awesome.
February of 2024.
Okay,
And
so
by,
about 4 months after your doctor visit.
yes, and in early April, I called the doctor and I said, "I need to come in. I'm down to my weight." And by the time my appointment got around, my goal weight was 331 pounds. I was at 365 when I started.
Okay.
And my goal weight was 331 pounds to be able to have surgery. Well, when I got to the doctor's office, I was down to 324, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I told him I was doing intermittent fasting. He said, "Well, I've heard of that, but I've never researched it." And he's so nice to me and everything, and he went ahead and scheduled the surgery, and I just kept with it. And by the time surgery rolled around in July the 10th, I was down to 310 pounds. So I
Wow.
had lost 55 pounds by that point. And I continued to lose weight even after the surgery, even though I was not as aggressive anymore. And over the year, I needed to have the other knee done, so I decided to wait a full year between operations. And I'm glad that I did, but I continued to lose weight, and now I'm down into the 290 range.
That's amazing. So you saw a big first number change and now you're in the 200s.
Yes.
I bet you
But
that
that's,
feels good.
to me, people get excited about the pounds and stuff. I'm not as excited about the pounds anymore as I am about all of my non scale victories.
Well, tell me more about that, Mike. What kind of non-scale victories have you seen?
Blood pressure, number one.
Yep.
I was on two different medications for blood pressure. I was on fasanopril and I can't pronounce it, carvedilol. One of them took care of the high end, the other one took care of the low end. I'm on neither one of those now, and my blood pressure's it runs in the 130s over 70.
So it's staying really in a good level right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's perfect. And then
Wow.
I'm off of statin drugs or any cholesterol drugs. I don't take any medications at all now, except for some over-the-counter things
Okay.
that are really not medications. They're more like supplements.
Oh, yeah. So nothing really like medication wise, just some supplements. Which ones do you recommend? Any in particular? Are your
Oh
favorites?
gosh, magnesium glycinate.
I take that as well. It's the only thing I take.
Yeah, make you sleep like a log.
Yeah, I agree. It really, I don't take much. Like I said, I just take the magnesium, and I tried it from a recommendation from other podcasts. I actually ran out for a little while, and I didn't take it for a month. But it's like one of the things I truly missed. After a little while, I was like, it helped me just ease my mind. It helped me relax. It helps with digestion and things like that. That I didn't even realize it was benefiting me as much as it was until I stopped taking it. So I do like that.
Now I take that, and I take a high quality fish oil.
Okay.
It's actually prescribed for me. So you could say that it was the doctor. She prescribed it for me because she said, "I want you to take fish oil. Would you take that?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Because I am a heart patient. I've had a stent." And she said, "I just want to prevent any reoccurrence of anything." She said, "And since we don't need the statin drugs or anything like that, I would just rather you take a good quality fish oil and let me prescribe one for you." So it is a prescription, but basically it's just fish oil.
Oh yeah, basically probably just a high quality
It
fish
is.
oil that can
It's
be
an
covered by your
extremely, extremely high quality fish oil that you can't just buy over the counter. She said if I didn't want to do that, I could just take the over the counter brand.
That's great news.
But I take that, and I still take, at a doctor's request, my cardiologist, he said, "Well, I'd still want you taking a baby aspirin every day." So I do that. But I don't consider that medication. I just consider that a preventative. And those are the only things that I put in my mouth besides the food that I eat.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
good news and really inspiring, Mike. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of what you put in your food, we did talk a little bit about this, but eggs and cabbage. Tell me about eggs and cabbage.
My goodness. Wendy Taquino, intermittent fast with Wendy.
Yes, I'm in her group as
She
well.
she is a treasure. She is a treasure. And she introduced me to eggs and cabbage. I would have never in my life thought of putting eggs and cabbage on the same plate and enjoying it. But here's what I do. If you want a quick little recipe,
I love it. Yes, please.
okay, I will saute in butter cabbage and bell pepper and onion and carrot and whatever I want. I'll put in there. The main part of it being cabbage, and I'll go ahead and saute it on down until it has just a little bit of crunch left in it,
Yeah.
and put that in my bowl, and then cook 2 or 3 eggs like an omelet style, and put that over the top of it. And then, of course, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 tablespoons of kimchi to go with it.
That's funny. I was going to ask you about that too. I saw your recipe in our Facebook group and it looks delicious. Do you often make things like that?
I do.
Like
I
kimchi?
do not want to run out of kimchi. Let's just
I
put
love
it
it, but
that
I've
way.
only bought it at the grocery store, so I'm gonna try it. I even have the jars for the fermentation and everything. I'm
Yeah.
partially committed, so I'm
Well,
following you.
listen, once you get started with it, you'll be addicted to it because homemade kimchi, you can tailor it to your own taste.
Yeah, and you know exactly what's in it. You know the vegetables are fresh or whatever
Yeah,
you like.
you can let it ferment for the length of time that you want to, or you can just cut it short, however your taste, right? And listen to me. On top of the refrigerator is where I ferment mine because it's got a little bit of warmth and that just kickstarts that fermentation.
Oh, that's a good tip. That's a
Yeah.
really good tip. Yeah. You ferment anything else or just kimchi right now?
I have tried cabbage, but I've got a friend who is of German descent, and she makes sauerkraut.
I'd like
And
to try that.
gosh, I love her sauerkraut. She's out of it right now. She said, "Oh, I got to make a fresh batch." I said, "Well, hurry up."
Yeah, hurry up, friend. We need it. That sounds delicious. I love sauerkraut. I am also
Yes.
of German descent, and sauerkraut has been a part of my life for a long time. My family makes it in so many
Listen,
different.
I can eat a sauerkraut sandwich.
Oh yeah, me too.
I can I can take 2 pieces of toast, and I like my toast really crispy, and I'll spread some spicy mustard on it, and then just a thick layer of sauerkraut, and just eat that, and it's my goodness.
My dad used to stir it into his mashed potatoes with ketchup. I thought it looked really gross, but I don't think I'd do that right
I
now.
don't know about that, but
Yeah. Yeah, just thinking about it kind of turns my stomach. I haven't thought about that in a while, which shows me that food choices do change whenever you start
they
fasting.
do.
So, what else has changed with some of your food choices since you became an intermittent faster?
Oh gosh. Well, my wife and I, we still eat bread, and we still eat, but she makes our own bread. She makes
Mm.
a whole wheat bread in the bread machine that she has, and that's our primary bread, because we know that it's healthy and it doesn't have matter of fact, when she makes a loaf, she goes ahead and slices it and then puts it in the refrigerator just so that
Okay.
it'll stall off any, don't want it to spoil or, start getting moldy. We make our own bread. We try to eat nothing processed.
Yep.
We we try to stay away from seed oils, and in the process, we even make our own beef tallow in the crock pot.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I've
Yeah,
been hearing a lot about beef tallow, and I was just looking into purchasing some, but I never considered making it by myself.
you can go to the butcher and just say, "Hey, I want to buy some beef fat," and they'll give you the trimmings, and you just take it home, put it in the crock pot, and just put it on low and just let it render on down, and then just start
Oh.
picking out the little pieces of meat, and what you've got left is pure tallow.
Almost like the grease off of a bacon and stuff too, right? You just kind of filter out the
Exactly.
meat chunks.
Exactly.
All right.
And you won't find us throwing away any bacon grease around this house either, because that's
Nope.
such that's just like liquid gold around here.
Wait, bacon grease is a commodity. I can't believe I wasted it for as long as I did. I always have some bacon grease around. I love it. Yeah.
But no, food choices change because as you start losing weight and you start seeing these non-scale victories and stuff, you want to promote that within yourself, and so food choices, become
To help
effective.
support the hard work that you've done.
Yes.
Yes, I feel so much differently about processed foods. I've always liked vegetables and things like that, of course, but I was drinking a lot of artificially sweetened beverages and eating a lot of things that I never even considered, chips with flavor dust all over them and stuff. And now I look at them and think,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, I don't even want that in my body. When before I would have like killed for a bag of cheddar and sour cream Lay's or something. And now I'm like, no, thank you. Like, give me some cheese with sour cream instead and a potato.
Yeah, I love cheese. We both love cheese. One of her favorite dishes, it's one of mine too, is she'll take zucchini and yellow squash and onions and bell peppers and slice it all up and put just a dash of olive oil in there, all among
Mhm.
it. Put it in a shallow pan and bake it in the oven until it starts to wilt, and then put cheddar cheese all over the top of it. And oh my goodness, that's so
Oh my
good.
gosh, that does sound really good.
It
I've been
is.
practicing with roasting vegetables a little bit more too. I just love roasted vegetables. And then you add cheese. Everything's better
Yeah.
with cheese.
And you can do that in the air fryer or the oven, and then I spend a good bit of time cooking out on the Blackstone grill because that's a good healthy source for us. And I've kind of mastered salmon out there. I love salmon.
Me too. And I love my Blackstone as well. Not sponsored by Blackstone at all, but I definitely love using my Blackstone. I don't even use my regular grill anymore. But salmon on the Blackstone sounds exceptionally good. Do you buy it fresh or where do you like to where do you get your salmon?
We go to Aldi's. Not a
I love
plug
all
for
the
Aldi's, but I love Aldi's, and a lot of people don't know this. Here's a little tip for you. If you're at Aldi's when they open the doors in the morning, the first thing that they've already been there for 1 hour. Our Aldi's opens at 9 o'clock. They've been there since 8 o'clock. And one of the employees will go back to the meat counter and go through everything. And if it's within a day or two of being going out of date, they'll put a 50% off sticker on it. So I go in there on at least once or twice a week, and I'm the first one waiting on them to open the doors, and I'll go back there and get that salmon. Come on.
That is a great tip. I
Yes.
think I've hit that before by accident. I've been very excited, but that's a really good tip going first thing in the morning so you could get the healthy things that at even a discounted rate. And then you can even freeze them if you're not ready to use it.
But that's where we get most of our salmon, and they have the what is it, the wild salmon. It's not farm raised and it doesn't have the
Like wild caught.
antibiotics. You just have to make sure that you get the wild caught salmon.
That sounds delicious. Yes, I
Yeah.
don't make salmon a lot. My family aren't big fish people, but I order it out whenever I eat.
Oh yeah.
So, but whatever, I'm gonna make some salmon and they could eat something else.
Well, when you decide to throw it on the Blackstone, here's what you do.
Okay,
You
I'm ready.
throw it on skin side first
Okay.
and let it cook for just a few minutes, and then flip it over and the skin will just peel right off.
Okay.
It just absolutely releases, and then you just go ahead and cook it to the level that you want.
So you don't have to cut it beforehand. That just makes it so much easier.
Yes.
Okay, that's a great tip.
And as soon as I flip it, then I'll take a knife and I'll go ahead and cut it into cubes and then finish cooking it already cubed up so it's ready to go.
That's perfect. I
Yeah.
love these tips. Now you're making me a little hungry. I think that's just the ghrelin release, but thank you for
Well,
that.
it's actually a little bit past time for me to break my fast for the day.
Yes. Tell me about that. What's your normal eating window like?
Normally, my wife and I we'll either going to do a 16-8 or we'll do an 18-6. It just
Okay.
depends on what we're doing, and if we get hungry, we'll break at noon. If we don't, then we'll go to 2 o'clock, sometimes 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Fasting's funny like that. Before I was a faster, I couldn't imagine waiting till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock to eat. But Once in a while, it happens by accident. I'll look at the clock and be like, oh my goodness, what happened to the day, right?
I can't even think about eating anymore in the morning. It's been so long. I mean, we're talking February of 2024. I've been fasting since then. So
So,
that's coming up on 2 years.
well, congratulations on that. That is awesome. So your mindset has changed.
Yes.
Hard to believe. Were
Yeah.
you the kind of person that ate breakfast, like a morning breakfast every day?
Oh my gosh, yes. I
Me too. It's
would,
the first thing I
because
do.
I was still working back then, and I would stop at, at a Hardee's or whatever and get a biscuit and a sausage biscuit or whatever. I mean, I didn't think about not stopping.
No, it was like part of the routine. In fact, like even before I went shopping or anything, it was like, oh, but before I do anything at all, I have to eat something. Or
Yeah.
if we're going to go out in the morning, we have to stop somewhere first to eat. And that's not even like a blip on the radar anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, see, I work out at the gym 4 days a week. And I
Oh,
go in
nice.
about, yeah, I go in about 7 o'clock in the morning, and there's a group of older guys that I work out with. And we're all joking and cutting up, but we're working pretty seriously, and they're talking about, yeah, I had this before I came in, or I had a high protein shake, or I had this, and I'm like, dude, I hadn't had anything. And they look at me like they cannot believe that I have come into the gym without something in my stomach.
I hear that all the time. I have friends that are weightlifters and they are always chasing their protein
Yeah,
and having to eat before they work out. And I can't even imagine, like, I don't want to eat before I work out. The thought of it makes me feel like, oh, that
no,
sounds heavy or burdensome, right?
you'd be sluggish.
Yeah, sluggish. Like, it's until you meet other fasters and start talking about it, it's amazing what you can do fasted and not even think about it. In fact,
Well,
I
see,
enjoy it.
one of the guys in the group now, he has come on board, and he won't eat before he waits until after he's through working out, and he said most of the time I just wait until lunchtime to eat. And I said, good for you.
Good
And
for
you
him.
can and you can tell it too, because he's slimming down, and
So he's seeing the benefits.
yes, he is.
That's awesome. Has there been anybody else that you've affected like that through just your personal life?
Oh gosh, yes. There's been several people that I grew up with. There have been several people that I go to church with. There have been several people, from all different walks of life who've seen me and said, what are you doing? And I tell them, and I said, it's the easiest thing ever done. I said, just don't eat.
Just don't eat. It's the thing that sounds the hardest, but the easiest thing I ever done. That's what I tell people. I'm like, it sounds hard, but it's easy.
It is easy. It
Yeah.
is easy. I mean, the first couple of weeks you might be going crazy with it, but after that, it just becomes I don't even think about it anymore. It's automatic.
It's automatic. Do you
Yeah.
remember your first couple weeks? What kind of things or changes did you go through?
Oh gosh, I was just like, well, with me, I was already drinking black coffee. I've
Okay.
drunk black coffee for years, so I said, well, I'll just settle in with that, and that'll be my go-to. And just it really wasn't that hard for me because I was so determined to lose that weight, I guess. But I understand if it's hard for somebody, and I understand. I've got a lady who contacted me just this morning on Facebook Messenger, and she said, "Would you help me with intermittent fasting?" She said, "I've seen the results," and she said, "I need that too." And I said, "Sure."
That's wonderful.
And
Yes,
so
I'm
I,
always about helping
yeah.
others.
So I sent her some resources, and she said, well, I want to buy your book and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, yeah. I said, that's a good start. And I said, Jen Stephens' book, you know,
Yes,
all of
I
that.
always recommend Jen Stevens' book. It's just a great tool so you
Absolutely.
understand the basics, the science behind it. What a great book. I love it so much. But whenever you share your message, you mentioned your book. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you and about your book.
Jolene inspired me.
Jolene, she was my first interview. She's so great, and I appreciate her for setting us up on this conversation. Thanks, Jolene. Shout out.
She's a treasure. She told me, she said, you need, with all the things that you do and you write, because I've got like 21 books at Amazon.
Wow.
Okay. I write fiction, I write biblical fiction, and then I write books that are more inspirational, type books. But she said, you need to document your journey. And so I did. Basically, my book is how I got started and the journey through to having surgery and then the year after surgery and leading up to the second surgery. And that's where my book kind of ends. But it's got some recipes in it. It's got other things in it like preventative medicine and how to look at things that will help you in all manner of life, not just intermittent fasting.
That's wonderful. And what is it called?
It's called Intermittent Fasting for the Win
And
by
it can be found
Mygoal.
on Amazon.
If you go to Amazon, just type in Intermittent Fasting for the Win by Mygoal Saunders, and it'll pop right up.
That's awesome. I'm going to check it out. I'm excited to read it. I love reading real stories about real people. They're just so inspiring. And that you wrote a book through your surgery too. I bet that added an interesting perspective for a lot of people.
Yeah, one of the things in my book was in the time period between November and February when I found Kortney and I found intermittent fasting. I mean, you know the games that it plays in your head when you're overweight.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And the game that was playing in my head was, am I going to end up in a wheelchair eventually, not able to walk, because I couldn't hardly walk to my mailbox. And am I going to be just a loser for the rest of my life? And then when I found intermittent fasting, I discovered that I didn't have to be a loser anymore. I could be a winner. And
I love it.
That's why I chose the title Intermittent Fasting for the Win, because
Yes.
Won.
Yes, you're winning. That's amazing.
Yes.
And celebrating it every day, and that you can walk, and that your knee replacement surgeries, I'm assuming they went well because you're walking and
Yes.
talking and everything right now, right? So
Yes.
that is amazing. I also had a surgery as an intermittent faster. Excuse me, talking too fast. But it was an Achilles heel repair and a heel spur removal. Yes, it was pretty intense. I was
Yes.
off my feet for about 6 weeks, like non-weight bearing, and I fasted through it. And I'll share with you too, just for other people that have had surgeries, my healing process was amazing. I don't want to brag too much, but my doctors were even like, Erica, you're doing so good. We want to remind you that you're still healing. Like, make sure you're still taking it slow and not going too fast by accident. So I was just healing quickly, feeling great. I mean, I have very minor discomfort. Sometimes I know when I overdo it, but I know in my heart that I healed quicker and faster as a faster than I would have
Yes.
as a non-faster.
Absolutely. Let me tell you just a quick little snippet. My first knee, I didn't know what to look for. You know, you can read stories of other people, but you really don't know until you do it. Okay. My second knee, I got in the gym and I started working out and strengthening that leg and doing all of these things. And I, of course, doing my fasting. And it's been tomorrow would be 11 weeks since my second surgery.
11 weeks.
11
months.
weeks. I went in 2 weeks ago for a 9-week checkup. And the last time I had a 9-week checkup, then I had a 4-month checkup, then I had another checkup after, 8 months. This time, are you ready for this? This is a huge NSV here. I went in for my 9-week checkup, and the doctor says, he looked at my scar. He said, stand up and walk, let me see. And I did, and he said, are you still in the gym? I said, yes, I am. He said, well, I tell you what. He said, you are doing so good, I'm not even going to schedule another follow-up visit after this. He said, if you have a problem, call me.
Wow, Mike, that's amazing.
How often are you going to get released from a doctor after having a knee replacement surgery in just
Early.
9 weeks? Yeah,
You graduated early. Congratulations. That's
I
good
killed
news.
it.
You nailed it. Yes. Congratulations.
Yes.
Wow, that is really inspiring for anybody about to have a surgery. I mean,
Well, listen,
wow.
it was exercise and fasting.
Fasting, exercise, staying moving. I think so many people don't move after surgeries like that, right?
That's a huge problem.
That is a huge problem. And part of just living a healthy life in general, whether you're a faster or not, is to keep moving. Because
Yes.
once you
Yes.
sit down, you get old. That's what I always heard. And I don't plan on getting old ever.
So now I turn the tables on you. Okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Erica, how long have you been fasting?
Well, I have been fasting since March of 2022. So I'll be coming up
Ooh.
here on 4 years in March. So I've been doing it for a long time now. I feel like I have a lot of experience. I lost 90 pounds pretty quickly within the first year, and I've
Yes.
maintained it for the most part. I just shared on Graham's podcast. I had a life change after my surgery. My exercise changed, and my daughter moved in with her baby. So I have put on about 10 pounds from my lowest weight, but it just doesn't seem like a big deal. It's coming off slowly. I just stopped eating dessert as much. And like
I have
for the first time in my life, I'm like, wow, losing 10 pounds just sounds like no big deal. When before I was crying about how I would do it. And I was so overweight and sad, so I'm in a good
well,
place.
my wife and I, our little GP, our doctor, she loves to see us every 6 months because my
Okay.
wife, she has the thyroid thing going on, and so she wants to check up on that. And so she wants us both in there at the same time, and she schedules our appointments together. And I know the reason behind that, that's so we'll rat each other out, right?
Yep,
But
absolutely. I love going to the doctor with my husband, so I know everything.
she said, your blood pressure's fine. She said, just take that fish oil, just do this. And she said, could you lose 10 more pounds for me by next 6 months? I said, yeah, I think I can. And she
10
laughed and she
pounds.
said, she said, I know you can because she knows about fasting. One of her nurses is a faster, and she's all on board with. And that's another wonderful thing is to have doctors on board that say, "Okay, I know what you're doing, and I think it's a good thing." I love
I
that.
am so lucky to have that too. My primary care physician, I was very honest with her, and she's like, "How are you losing weight?" I said, "Intermittent fasting." She's like, "Great, it's working. So good job." And then she also said, "Can you lose 10 more pounds?" So I understand.
It's
It's
like it's never enough.
It's never enough. It's like whenever you do a good job at work, you're like, great, can you do it again, but more? I'm like, oh no. Yeah, so that will happen as well. But it feels good to know that my medical team is on board. But to be very honest, I had already found fasting by the time I went to that doctor, and I really liked it so much that I may have considered even finding another doctor if they didn't understand or agree.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I just feel that strongly about it. So I'm very committed to it in a healthy way, of course.
Well, see that's part of what I discuss in my book is the fact that doctors they are trained in school to prescribe medicine.
Yes, and treat ailments after they're already there.
Well, I'm so thankful that I have a doctor who understands nutrition and she understands exercise and she understands that you can overcome things without the drugs. And that is a blessing there.
It sure is. I have a similar doctor, and he's kind of let me take a little bit of charge over my health, which I really appreciate. He would probably let me know, but he's been really open minded to anything I could do that's more natural. He was
Yeah.
also the doctor who was talking to me about the Mediterranean diet and just trying to give me suggestions, but he wasn't pushing medication. He was always pushing more diet change and active lifestyle.
I
So,
think I think that you will find in our community of intermittent fasters, if you find somebody who has generally bought into the process and understands the process, that it affects their whole life in all kinds of other ways.
it's true in so many ways that I didn't even realize, even after reading them, until they happened to me. Do you have any specific examples? Like, what are the surprising benefits that you've found of intermittent fasting?
You know, one of my favorite, I don't know if you like college football or not. I love college football.
I don't watch a lot of football, but I'm aware, go Pitt. Sorry.
One of the greatest coaches that has ever coached football was Nick Saban, who
Okay.
was the coach for Alabama Crimson Tide, my team. But
Go Crimson
he
Tide.
his philosophy is, I'm not here to make great football players. He said, I'm here to make great young men, and in the process, they will become great football players. And that is his whole philosophy. He says, I want to make you into the man that you need to be. And in the process, football will be a side effect of that.
It's a part of
And
that.
this is what it is with intermittent fasting. intermittent fasting, like Jen Stephens says, it's a lifestyle that will make you healthier. And one of the side effects is you'll lose weight.
Yes, a health plan with a side effect of weight loss.
That's it.
I tell people the same thing because I also experienced a lot of, like, similar to you. My cholesterol is down, my triglycerides are down, my weight is down, all kinds of little things that I was concerned about have ended. I had sleep apnea and I was using a CPAP machine. I'm no longer using that with my doctor's blessing. Just those little things are just so lightening, that if I wouldn't have lost a pound and those things would have happened, I'd be thrilled to still share my story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. But the weight loss has been fun as well, right?
Yes, it has.
Feels a little better, right? A little more comfortable.
Yeah, it's great when you had to buy new underwear.
That's funny. Yes, good and bad. I had a couple experiences. I always warn people because I got excited, and bought some stuff and I'm like grew out of it quickly. So some of my good friends got some really nice stuff that was only worn a couple times. But I guess that's the price that I would willingly pay.
New underwear.
Yeah, new underwear. Yes, everybody likes that. Good job. I'm not sure your wife was pleased as well too. Finally, get rid of these things, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. So what advice would you give to somebody who is considering intermittent fasting or just beginning the lifestyle?
The same advice that I gave to that young lady this morning who contacted me on Facebook Messenger. Read. Number one, read. Consume the literature. Don't just sit back and ask questions when there are so many wonderful resources available. I mean, you could read my book. You could read Jen Stephens' book. You could read Graham Curry's book. There's so many, Jason Fung. You could read so many different things, and there's so many different YouTube channels and videos. But make sure, number one, that they are promoting a clean fast.
Yes.
That's the second thing. First thing, educate yourself. Second thing, do a clean fast. Do not deviate from that. Number three, don't try to be a rock star from the beginning. Ease into it with a 12-hour fast. Then move to 13, then to 14, then to 15. And whatever you need, even if you had to move on into ADF or something like that. The four basic tenets there are educate yourself and then do the clean fast and ease into it and just let nature take its course.
I love that advice, Mike. I completely agree. Ease into it. I've had so many people reach out to me who said, I want to start intermittent fasting. Should I start with ADF? And I'm like, oh my goodness, no, please don't, right? Because I myself have done a little bit of ADF. I would say that I didn't even try it though until I was about 6 months in. I was in a group and they were doing a mealless Monday and I just really wanted to see what that felt like. And I do like ADF once in a while, but I never recommend people start there. That would be silly. Yeah. I'd say if you're a little nervous, just even start focusing on that 12 hours. Like I'm done eating at 8 p.m. I'm not eating again until 8 a.m. Just to stop the late night snacking or something and then slowly ease into it because it's a marathon, Mike. It's not a race. We don't have to get there by next week. It's okay.
Before intermittent fasting, I'd go to bed at 8 o'clock. I've always liked to go to bed early. By midnight, I was up looking for something to eat.
Midnight snack, it's a thing.
Yeah. And I could eat a half a box of Cheez-Its,
And what did that even do?
And then go back to sleep and then wake up in the morning and head out to work and grab a biscuit on the way to work and then a snack before lunch. And it was just a roller coaster. And once I stopped that roller coaster, everything became easy and everything became normal again. Normal is fasting.
Yes. People always ask me too, like, are you still doing that? I'm like, this is what I do now.
Duh.
It's hard to imagine, but people are like, don't you miss having snacks? I'm like, actually, no. And sometimes I do still have snacks in my eating window. I could still have them, but I do not miss eating all day.
That's like people. Yeah, people say, well, I just love my breakfast. I love my eggs and bacon and blah, blah. Have it for supper.
We do that. We probably do that almost once a week.
Yeah.
I love breakfast. Give me some eggs and bacon and a breakfast
hash browns,
sandwich.
whatever.
Yes, please. I love having breakfast for dinner. It's easy and everybody likes it. So we do that quite a bit, actually, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, love breakfast for dinner. I was going to say something else, lost my thought, but anyway, yeah, you're right. Intermittent fasting, once you get used to doing it, it's impossible to imagine not doing it anymore. Oh, I was going to say I used to eat a bowl of cereal every night before bed.
Yeah.
The one thing that Jen said that really stuck with me, to be honest, Mike, too, was hunger is not an emergency. I think I
No,
always
it's not.
felt like I might get hungry. I was always eating for potential hunger instead of feeding for real hunger. So I'd be like, I'm going to eat this just in case. Does that make
Yep.
sense? And then I've realized that I've tested, like, oh, I'm hungry right now. But then an hour goes by and I haven't shriveled up and died or anything. So I'm like, okay, this wasn't an emergency. It didn't get any worse. It just kind of lingered. And then usually it goes away once I can get through that ghrelin release. You know, I can go through a couple more hours. And that's why I always tell people just to be mindful and take a pause for a moment and decide, is this true hunger or is this just a hormone release? But it's given me the power because I used to eat out of desperation, and now I'm able to take that pause and it's no big deal, right?
To put a timestamp on this video that we record, or this podcast to put a timestamp on it, I'm sitting here watching all of these videos of these people whose EBT benefits have not been coming in, and they're weighing 400 pounds and they're screaming, I'm going to starve to death.
Yes.
No, you need to starve a little bit every day.
Yep. Yes, and there's a lot going on, but there's something to be said that we can all take a little break from
Yes.
eating
Yes.
all day.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody needs that. And so much processed food and everything too. I think it's just so important to be
Oh,
mindful about
gosh.
what you're eating. I even heard somebody say once, well, a lot actually, where I'm 45, so I was born in 1980, just to give you an idea. So I grew up kind of in a processed food era. Like I remember
Yes, you
my
did.
grandmother taking a microwave cooking class and experimenting on us grandkids and all of the things. But my father's age, you know, they ate 3 square meals a day, and that was the end. And they even still had dessert every night. My grandmother worked at a bakery, but they had like breakfast, lunch, dinner with dessert. And there was so much less obesity in the world just by taking a pause for a minute. Now I'm a consultant for small businesses, and I'll walk into their back rooms and it's flooded with snacks and energy drinks
Yes.
and sweetened beverages. And it just makes me a little bit sad to think that that's what people are fueling with themselves with all day, right? When it
Yes.
would be better to consume nothing at all.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I appreciate your perspective, Mike. So anything else that you'd like to share with our podcast audience or with the listeners today that would be beneficial with their journey?
One thing before we close out. If I can do it, you can do it.
That's powerful.
That's the bottom line. In 1991, I smoked my last cigarette.
Good job.
And when I say smoke cigarettes, I smoked 3 packs a day of full flavor menthol cigarettes. Salem was my brand of choice.
Salem menthols. Yes. My mother smoked.
I quit in 1991, cold turkey.
Good for you.
It was pure HE double hockey sticks for a few weeks, but it got better and better and better. And if I could do that, I knew that I could stop eating. And if I can do that, I know that you can too.
Thanks, Mike. That's really great advice. And I agree 100%. If I can sit here and talk to people about health and wellness, anybody can. Because
Absolutely.
if you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be even having this conversation with you today, I would have not believed you at all. I'd be like, no, I'll still be eating snacks all day. But here I am living this lifestyle and loving it. So
Yes.
I truly appreciate you coming on to the podcast today and telling us your story. I hope that people read your book, Intermittent Fasting for the Win. I'm excited to read it as well. And everything that you're doing just to help out your community in every way. I think that that's wonderful. So thanks for giving back, Mike.
Absolutely. Well, freely I was given, so freely I give back.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you.
All right. It's been
All right.
great.
Talk to you later. Keep fasting.
Been great. All right. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pause and Fast podcast. It truly means the world to have you here, showing up for yourself and this community. If If you want to keep the conversation going, come and join us at the Pause and Fast Facebook group. It's where we connect, share, and support each other on this journey. You could also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Pause and Fast for more tips, stories, and updates. And if you feel called to share your own fasting or health journey, I would be honored to hear it. Just send me an email at pounds.And.fast@gmail.com. Your story might actually be exactly what someone needs. Thank you again for listening. I'm cheering you on, and until next time, let's keep moving forward together for better health. Have a great day.